Evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the City of Gloucester Zoning Board of Appeals meeting of October 9th, 2025. Tonight's meeting is a public meeting, but it's also being held remotely on Zoom. And for the record, the Zoom link meeting ID number is 843-0065-6668. I recognize in attendance myself, Joseph Parisi. On Zoom is Peter Canavo. In person, Lauren Norton and Alex Ruiz. We have 4 members, and I declare we have a quorum. First order of business is approval for the chair to sign the decision on 2 Fuller Lane. We'll need a motion for that.
Motion to approve the decision on 2 Fuller Lane.
Second.
Made and seconded. Roll call.
Mr. Canavo,
Yes.
Mr. Ruiz,
Yes.
Ms. Norton,
Yes.
Mr. Parisi.
Yes. Consent agenda is approved. Next is the approval of minutes of September 25th, 2025. Any corrections or omissions? I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion for approval of the minutes of September 25th.
As with the one change that, okay, great. Second.
Made and seconded. Roll call.
Mr. Canavo,
Yes.
Mr. Ruiz,
Yes.
Ms. Norton,
Yes.
Mr. Parisi.
Yes. Minutes are approved. Our first order of business tonight is the extension of time request for variance for 5 Grapevine Road. Attorney Ellison.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. For the record, Deborah Ellison, Ellison Law Office, 63 Middle Street, Gloucester. The applicant and owner is Susan Ward. Tonight, we're requesting to extend the variances that are set to expire on October 10th, 2025 for 6 months until April 10th, 2026. On November 9, 2023, the ZBA granted variances for an increase in lot coverage and left side yard setback, as well as a special permit for alteration and expansion of a pre-existing non-conforming structure. On December 20th, 2023, that decision was filed with the city clerk, and there was an appeal filed on January 8th, 2024. That appeal was dismissed on October 10th, 2024, and although Ms. Ward intended to proceed with the demolition and reconstruction of her home at that time, there were health issues of her immediate family and herself that interfered. Ms. Ward would have been here tonight, but she's currently recovering from a recent surgery, and she still is very much committed to this project, and she's looking forward to beginning it as soon as she can. The special permit is not set to expire until October 10th, 2026. Therefore, there's no need for that to be extended, but we are asking that you grant the extension for the variances. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Anybody have questions? Seeing none, this is a routine extension. Obviously, with the appeal caused delay. So I would entertain a motion to grant a 1-year extension, right? 1 year? 6 months we can only do, right? 6-month extension for the variance for 5 Grapevine Road. Somebody?
A motion. Motion to extend the variances 6 months for
5 Grapevine.
5 Grapevine Road.
Seconded.
Made and seconded. Roll call.
Mr. Canavo,
Yes.
Mr. Ruiz,
Yes.
Ms. Norton,
Yes.
Mr. Parisi.
Yes. For our decisions, we need some type of statement about it so we can sign off.
I believe you do. Is that something that the board has a form, or would you like me to prepare something?
We'll have to look for a variance extension. I know we've done a ton of them, so I don't know that we have our form.
Okay. Thank you very much. I'm happy to prepare something if you need it.
Okay, I'll get into our normal applications tonight. First is the application of William Glidden for a special permit of variance to construct an addition at 5 Nickel Lane Way. I'll remind everyone, when you come up, we need your name and address for the record. And then you can start your presentation. That goes for even people coming up to speak in the public hearing.
Is it possible to share my screen? Yeah, my name is William Glidden, and I reside at 5 Nickel Lane Way in Gloucester.
Should be able to share your screen.
I'm just waiting to get it approval. Hold on 1 second. I just got to join the Zoom one more time. Just give me 1 second. All right, I'm back in. So if you want to add me as a panelist, that'd be. All right, we got it. So, all right. My name is Will Glidden again. I live at 5 Nickel Lane Way. I am the owner as well as my wife here, Marley Melvin. We're here today asking for a special permit to alter or expand a pre-existing non-conforming structure. This is the, let me get my notes here for a minute. This is how it stands today. This is the east elevation of the home. Second photo is the south elevation. This third photo is the west elevation. This is how it is seen from 7 Norseman, so the previous street before you get to Nickel Lane. And this is the north elevation. Shaded here is the current state of the home, and the box in red is the addition that we are proposing. Again, this is the east elevation, the south elevation, the west elevation, and the north elevation. This is the plot plan. The square in red is the proposed addition. It is 23 by 24 feet and 3 inches. The proposed addition is 610 square feet. The existing house is 878 square feet. The existing deck to remain is 417 square feet. And the total existing and proposed addition would be 1,905 square feet. Height would not exceed 30 feet. The addition would consist with the general aesthetic of the neighborhood. It would be the same siding that's on the house now, so a cedar siding. The reason for the addition is we would like to just expand this living space. As of right now, it's just 1 bedroom, 1 bath, kitchen and living room. So my wife and I just got married, so we're hoping to expand our family. So that's the reason for the addition. That's all.
Okay, we have any questions at this time for the applicant? Did a good job on your research there and providing us with the information we need. We did receive a letter of support from Pat Ryan, and your neighbor. I'm trying to remember, is she downhill from you or uphill?
She is. So she would be looking at the north elevation. She is downhill from us.
Right, that's what I thought. Had you talked to anybody else uphill?
Yes. So right behind us, Nancy McKay, who is would see the south elevation. She also has written a letter, and it's also in that
Great.
packet.
Very good, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions?
Yeah, and just, there's a third, in addition to Nancy McKay and Tricia Ryan, Nancy and Jean Izzelli.
Correct. They look at the east elevation, so directly at the house. They're
Also
direct.
submitted letters in support of your project.
Okay, you can take your screen down.
Yep.
Okay, we'll open up for public testimony. Is there anyone wishing to speak in favor of the application? If you're here, you come forward, and again, I remind everyone, give your name and address for the record first. If you're on Zoom, you hit your raise hand on your device, or if you're on a phone, you dial *9, and we will see you and be able to bring you into the meeting. If anyone wishing to speak in favor? None. Is there anyone wishing to speak in opposition to the application? And I see none. We'll close the public hearing. For the record, what this application is for a special permit under 1.9.2 to alter and expand a pre-existing non-conforming structure under 2.4.3. So those will be the points that we'll be rendering the decision on. We have a motion.
I'll make a motion. The application of William Glidden for special permit 1.9.2, alter and expand. To construct an addition at 5 Nickel Lane Way. I move forward on this motion. I think it's a good project. I did a good job explaining it. The non-conformity, existing non-conformity, so that's why they go for a special permit. I don't think it's more detrimental to the neighborhood, and they show a lot of support from the neighbors. So I vote in favor.
Motion made
Second.
and seconded. Roll call vote.
Mr. Canavo?
Yes.
Mr. Ruiz?
Yes.
Ms. Norton?
Yes.
Mr. Parisi?
Yes. Heard our decision's favorable. We'll be getting a decision out to you at some point, and there'll be instructions with it.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Lauren, whatever I did. Okay, our next hearing is the application of Drew White for a special permit of variance to convert a 2-family to a 3-family by constructing an at 15 Dodge Street.
Hello. Hey, I'm Drew White, the owner of 15 Dodge Street. Don't have a presentation. That was a great presentation. The relief I'm requesting is front yard and side yard setback relief and height variance, and those are all existing on the building. The addition isn't requiring any variance for zoning, relief on the side or back, or it's, part of the, it's above a first floor addition that's already existing. And then I'm requesting to convert from a 2 to a 3 family.
So you're going to be going for a special permit for a new use or change of use,
Correct.
which triggers us to have to re-permit your variance. Also special permit for maximum building height, variances for left and front yard setback. And my question at this point is, on your survey plans, we don't see anything about showing, I see one, you marked some parking. So are we calling one in the garage, and you have access that right away?
Correct, yes.
And on the other side, there's going to be a curb cut for 2 more spaces?
There's an existing driveway there. It's a paper road for the city, and it's right off of that, so it's just grass right now.
Okay. Anybody have any other questions of the applicant? All right, we'll take public testimony. Is there anyone wishing to speak in favor of the application? Anyone in favor, please come forward or raise your hand if you're on a device. None. Is there anyone wishing to speak in opposition to the application? Any opposition? Seeing none, so we'll close the public testimony. I think for clarity, we're talking about a special permit under 1.8.3. The change of use is 2.3.1. And then the special permit for height is under 1.9.2 and 3.1.6. The variances under 1.7.2 are from the dimensional tables on 3.2.1. So with all that in mind, to change to a 3-family, we'll entertain a motion.
I move to approve the special permit for the change in use under 1.8.3 and 2.3.4, and the special permit for the maximum height as provided under 3.1.6 and 1.9.2, and for the variances under 1.7.2 and front yard and the left. The special permit, I don't think that the change in use will be substantially more detrimental to the neighborhood than existing. Modifications to the variances. Seen standard federal enforcement would create a hardship relating to the locus.
Motion made.
Second.
Seconded. Roll call vote.
Mr. Canavo?
Yes, on all special permits and variants.
Mr. Ruiz? Ms. Norton?
Yes.
Mr. Parisi?
I also agree that everything meets the standards for the special permits and the variances, and I vote yes. And I will write that decision. Been approved. Wait for us to get you out of decision. There's an appeal period and instructions to follow.
Perfect, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, a final hearing of the night. is the application of 64 Friend LLC for special permit and variance to convert an 8-family unit to a 10 dwelling unit at 64 Friend Street.
Hello, for the record, my name is Aiden Church. I'm an attorney with Seaside Legal Solutions, address 123 Main Street. I'm going to share my screen here. So I'm here tonight representing the applicant, 64 Friend LLC, and the application pertains to both 64 Friend Street and 61 Taylor Street. So I'd like to just preface this by stating that, we're not proposing any work here tonight. This is, there's a pretty extensive relief list, but there's no new work whatsoever. We're just seeking to permit two existing dwelling units in one of the two buildings on 64 Friend Street. Just for a little history of the permitting, our office actually represented the previous owner seeking to do something similar last year. We actually submitted straight to the city council with the approval of the building inspector and the planning director. Normally, where the change of use is on the same use table line in 2.3.1, it's not considered a substantial enlargement of the existing use, and the existing dimensional nonconformities are not required to be permitted. But when we got to the Planning and Development Committee, the legal department did request that we go to the ZBA, at which point the previous owner sold the property, and here we are again a year later with a huge request for relief. But again, we're not proposing any new work. There are 10 existing total dwelling units across two structures on 64 Front Street. 8 of them are officially recognized. We're just seeking to permit the other 2. The relief that you hopefully grant tonight would allow us to go to the city council to request the change of use special permit. So just by way of background, again, it's 64 Front Street is the lot with the 2 existing houses on it. 61 Taylor Street is directly behind it. It's currently used just for parking. There's a garage on there, but that's not, I think that's currently just used for storage and not for parking. So in the R5 is the high density residential district. So these 2 lots where they're both, where 64 Front Street is non-conforming for its current use, it actually merges by operation of law with the rear lot. So they're considered as one lot for zoning purposes. The lot's still non-conforming, but it does have sufficient lot area anyways. So here are the 2 structures. The building in the rear is termed in the plans as Building 1. That currently has 6 units. Again, those are all recognized by inspectional services. Building 2 is the front property, the front house on the property. That's the 2.5-story building, and only 2 of the 4 units are recognized. So the previous owner, or actually the previous owner before the previous owner, I believe, sought similar relief in 1987, which was denied. We don't know for sure whether or not the 10 units existed in 1987, or if they were put in after illegally, but here we are almost 40 years later under new ownership, seeking to just do the right thing here. So in terms of relief that we're requesting tonight, in terms of dimensional variances, the lot's non-conforming in terms of lot width, frontage, and distance between the buildings. Building 1, again, that's the rear building, is non-conforming as relates to the left side yard setback area, the rear yard setback area, and the front yard vegetative cover. Building 2 is non-conforming in terms of the front yard, the right side yard, and again, the front yard vegetative cover where there is a portion that is grass, but not enough in that limited area. We also are seeking a special permit to exceed the maximum allowable height for Building 2, which is 34.77 feet, where 30 feet are allowed. And then in terms of parking, we're seeking relief from the design and layout requirements. 61 Taylor does provide sufficient parking for all 10 units, but it's not paved, it's not striped. Some of the spots are too close to the borders, and the whole lot's not bordered. So we're seeking relief from the design and layout requirements, whether that's termed, zero conforming spots, or, 12 spots that don't meet the design and layout requirements. However, we want to term that. I think that the relief would technically be the same under that 4.2.1. And then finally, just for belt and suspenders, we're going to ask for a special permit to alter and expand. Again, we're not performing any work, but where the existing structure is non-conforming and we're technically expanding that use, we just thought that it was probably good practice just to ask for that special permit as well. And then again, this will allow us to go to the city council and request the actual change of use special permit under 2.3.1, which will consider, the effects on the neighborhood and traffic and all things of that sort. And then the city council also has jurisdiction over dimensional special permits for lot area per dwelling unit and open space per dwelling unit. And then the existing building 1 is over 35 feet, so that's outside of your guys' purview as well. So the setbacks are a little funny with the multifamily where the 2 buildings are different heights. So we submitted 2 separate site plans, one for each building, because each building has different setbacks. So here's that rear building, here's the front building. Here's building 1. Existing floor plans are also proposed floor plans because we're not changing anything. So this is the 6-unit building. Here's the elevation plans for the 6-unit building. Here's the front building, the one with only 2 recognized units out of the 4 units that presently exist. And then here's just the elevation plans. Aerial view, map geo, base map, and then here's just some more pictures of the structures that exist currently. There's the rear building. And then here's the parking lot that I mentioned. It's not paved, but it is a gravel lot. It's not, kicking up tons of dust or anything. It's been used as parking for, many years at this point. And then that's just the existing garage. Again, you probably could fit a car in there, but we're not going to utilize that as one of the parking spots. So in terms of variances, you have to find that literal enforcement of the zoning ordinance would create a hardship for the owner. Here, where both structures are non-conforming, a literal enforcement require that they be demolished. And then where the lots they provide sufficient area, but they are offset, it'd be very difficult to build any multifamily conforming structure, let alone a multifamily with up to the existing number of units or, the proposed 10 units. So that hardship relates to the shape of the lot and the nature of the lot itself, where, 2 structures existed on that lot since at least 1920, according to the city assessor records. But the relief will not harm the public good or nullify the intent of the GZO. The variances would just allow these buildings to remain as is, where is, and allow the applicant to then go and try to permit the existing use of the buildings through the city council by way of that change of use. And that standard, again, will consider neighborhood impact, traffic safety, public services, things of that sort. And in terms of parking, the standard just that it needs to serve the intents of the ordinance. So here I would say that it does serve the intent of the ordinance. We're providing more than the 10 required spots. Again, though it's not paved, it provides spots that provide easy access to the rear of the building for all of the occupants, all of the residents. And while we probably actually have enough space we might be conforming in terms of the drive aisle, the access itself is a little undersized, and it'd probably be impractical and inefficient to have to pave and stripe and border everything when this lot has existed and seems to have worked sufficiently for the residents of the existing houses for many years at this point. So here, just showing you that picture again, and then the building in the rear background to the right is one of the 2 buildings. In terms of height, you have to find that it's consistent with neighborhood character, not substantially detrimental to the neighborhood in terms of obstruction of views, overshadowing, impairment of utilities. Here again, we're not changing the height. The building exists, so it's not, detrimental to the neighborhood in that respect. Finally, the special permits alter and expand just can't be substantially more detrimental to the neighborhood than the existing non-conforming use or structure. Again, we're not proposing any changes at this point. This is more just belt and suspenders relief. So in conclusion, we're not proposing any new work at this time. The variances just allow the buildings to remain as is, where is, and will allow us to go to the city council to try to properly permit those other 2 units. Again, the parking special permit will also just allow that lot to remain as is without requiring the applicant to pave it and stripe it and, do stuff that, in our opinion, is not, completely necessary at this point. And then a special permit for height, just to allow that building to remain, and special permit to alter and expand, just to allow us to expand that use eventually through the city council. So here's all the relief requested. I will just leave that up on the screen for the board in the event that you make a motion, and otherwise, that's it for me. Happy to answer any questions.
Questions? When you talked about the hardship, so if you just left it with the amount of units that are permitted, you wouldn't even need to go to anyone. So you wouldn't have to tear the building down. I kind of question the wording of the claim of hardship.
Well, the variances relate only to the dimensional nonconformities. So to bring the structures into conformance with the GZO in terms of, the dimensional requirements would require you to tear the
If
building.
you were not, if you were staying 8 units, which was legal, you wouldn't have to tear the building down. You wouldn't have to go to the city council. You wouldn't have to come here. You would exist as you are. Now, somebody just bought that building. I'd love to know who the bank is that lends money on a project that isn't even legal to occupy. But anyway, that's another story. So that was just one aspect of the hardship I questioned. And the other thing is you talk about the parking lot. And what's the word you used? In effect, what was the word you used about why you wouldn't improve the parking lot? In your statement.
It's, it's extra money for the applicants. It's,
I know it's extra money, but you used a word that said it was on your presentation. Impractical, did you say? Go back a slide or two. It was there.
I said, yeah, it would be impractical where, it currently exists, it's currently being used for parking for the 10 existing.
Well, just
You-
because something's being used improperly, you want to get a major improvement, but you're asking us to waive the parking requirements. I don't quite understand why it wouldn't benefit everyone for the lot to be paved and lined. I'm not saying you got to, I mean, realistically, you've got a tremendous hurdle in the parking regulations for a multifamily building. You've got to have legal size spaces, you've got to have turning alleys. You can't be near the boundaries as you stated, but we're just tossing that away. We're saying it would be impractical. It would also be compliant. So I'm just questioning that aspect of your presentation too. I always like the words you guys choose to use. I understand it might be expensive to do it, but did your client buy this building not thinking he had to do anything?
So, I don't know their intentions necessarily. I think that my point is just there are 12, according to the site plan that the surveyor laid out, 12 dimensionally compliant spaces that exist and have been being used as parking spaces for a number of years with, I'm not sure if there have been complaints. I guess we'll find out when we open it up to public hearing, but sort of if it's not broke, don't fix it type thing. So, where there are enough spaces, I would say that the spaces that exist in the lot do serve the intent of the GZO in that respect.
Does your client own other adjoining property to this, or was it was a little confusing in the narrative?
No, just, 60.
Just those two lots?
Yeah.
All righty, just some questions I had. Anybody else? Will to go to public testimony? Is there anyone in the audience or online that would like to speak in favor of the application? Anyone in favor? None. Anyone in opposition to the application? Anyone in opposition? Yes, and remind you of just your name and address, please, for the record.
Hi, my name is Marie Mondello. I live at 65 Taylor Street. The parking lot for this property is right alongside of my house. And I'm here to object to 64 Friend Street converting 8-unit dwelling into a 10-unit. Taylor Street, Elwell Street, and Friend Street are already overcrowded with cars of off-street parking. There is no more room for any more vehicles in this neighborhood. This area has quite a few multifamily homes which already do not provide parking for their tenants. The owners of these buildings usually do not live in these dwellings and have no idea of the parking situation. Every day, I have to worry about someone's going to park in front of my driveway. There's always somebody on both edges. In September, I had to call the police to have someone removed from blocking my driveway. I kindly urge the board to consider this serious parking problem when asked to approve any additions or splits on any building in this area. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak in opposition? None. We'll close public testimony and discussion by the board. Oh, rebuttal. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Dean.
Just by way of rebuttal, I mean, I understand and appreciate the neighborhood is dense and crowded, and parking is probably definitely very tight on the street. But again, this isn't a situation where they own just the 10 units and are seeking to provide no parking whatsoever. There is sufficient parking within that lot for all of the occupants, at least under the required number of parking spots in the GZO. We're required to provide 10 spots, and there's room for at least 12 spots in that lot. So the existing use of the two buildings should not negatively impact the neighborhood in terms of parking, just because there is sufficient parking in that lot. And again, while we're asking for a conversion ultimately from the city council for 8 to 10 units, the 10 units do exist and have existed for, I don't know how long, but they are pre-existing for many years, is my understanding.
You mentioned a third owner. So the one that was turned down was Manny Perry. And the trust that sold the house to this applicant was the Manny Perry Realty Trust. So I don't know, he's the same guy that got turned down and then put the apartments in anyway, and then your client bought it. I don't know of an in-between person.
So the immediate predecessor in title to my clients was Bosun 2 LLC, who owned both lots subsequent to the Perry Trust. But I believe that LLC was controlled by the Perry family, but it was a different entity.
All right, so there was no change in ownership there, but anyway. Question, Lauren?
Yeah, I just had a question on the parking. Can you put up your slide again on the relief that you're requesting?
Mhm.
And what would this look like if it was in conformity?
So there's the site plan layout. I can expand that if you need. So the layout would be the same, except for you would have to bump it off of the property lines and off of the street up to, I believe it's a foot in the ordinance. So that would further limit the drive aisle, which at this point is conforming at 24 feet. But would not be conforming if you're going to push those 9x18 spots closer together. As you can see from here, there's basically two curb cuts, one on the left-hand side of this picture to access the lot, and then one on the right-hand side to access the garage with curbing in the middle. So that the access to the driveway needs to be the same width as the drive aisle requirement, which is 24 feet. So we don't have that there. And then the major thing is the paving and the striping, obviously, and the full, while the border is, seemingly 80% bordered except for the access, you technically have to border the whole thing for the multifamily. So other than the access, so there would need to be some more fencing there, likely in front of the garage, I guess.
So you would have fewer spots if you had to conform to the ordinance.
I believe you could likely keep the 12 spots, but you would further narrow the drive aisle. That spot number 5 may or may not withstand being moved further away from the street. So you might lose one spot, but you still have more than the 10 required spots.
The layout you have, why is anything need to be moved? They're 9x18. They're set back from the boundaries in the street.
Except for here.
Still,
That spot number 4, I don't know whether or not that is at least a
the
foot
only
off the
thing you
property line.
wouldn't, the only thing you would, in other words, you're asking for a lesser number of spaces. I think that's wrong. We're not asking, you're actually proposing 12 when you only need 10.
Correct.
So how, I'm not going to grant lesser number of spaces. If you want to apply for individual pieces of the parking regulation that you don't want to abide by, then that's a different story. So I think the only things that you couldn't comply, I mean,
So the way that we phrase it in the application is just a relief from the design and layout requirements for paving, striping, drive aisle and access dimensions, and bordering of the lot itself. So those are all, they're not lesser number of spaces. That it's relief from the design and layout requirements under, I believe that's 4.2.
but we've
3.
waived one or two elements of the design in different scenarios. But I'm not inclined to give a blanket waiver of all the regulations. I mean, what is it? I don't think it's unrealistic to ask are they going to have to get another a wider curb cut? Is that what you're saying?
The curb cut would have to be wider to comply
I mean,
with
is that just too much of an inconvenience for your client to do
the
that?
access requirement. I mean, I can take it back to them if, the board suggests that we should request to continue and see if we can bring the lot into further compliance.
I would think so, because we're going to want more details of what elements of the parking requirement for a multifamily do you feel you can't comply with? Like I say, I wouldn't vote for a blanket waiver of all the requirements. We may be willing to say, oh, okay, so the drive alley could be, if it's supposed to be 30, it can be 24-foot one, like you're asking, or whatever. I could go along with that, no problem. But if the rules say you got to be able to go in and out of the place, and your curb cuts don't align with that, well, that just takes away parking spots. So, yeah, I think we should. I don't know what the rest of the board thinks, but maybe we should get some more answers on that.
I would agree with you, Mr. Chairman. I would feel better about that. There's a little bit of confusion on this parking. I mean, why not update it? Why not put lines? Why not become compliant? I know what is served before, but I mean, to benefit the neighborhood and the tenants, wouldn't you want something more organized and not like the wild, wild west and people just, parking the way it is and not, it might not be sufficient that way, so.
I agree, Peter. Why don't we,
So I guess I just have a couple of questions.
Sure.
So where there's the current curbing between the two access points, would it be, in the board's opinion, would it be best to remove that curbing entirely so that there's access, to the entire lot, I guess, including the garage? Or would it make more sense to sort of change curb cuts? Just wondering if the board has any preference on this, or if, that's up to us to figure out.
well, I mean, first off, I think they should be shown on the plan.
Yep.
And if getting the full cut is inconvenient, I certainly would be willing to see on the plan being able to go out and out. You may lose 5, but you only need 10 spots, so you might lose number 5. And then that keeps your, you don't have to go for the extra curb cut. That makes that easier for your client. But we'd want to see it,
Yep.
Or would you I mean, you could look at it and change it if there's, retain more street parking, and just put the curb cut in the middle.
Yeah.
The way it's required or
Yeah,
contemplated.
I think, I agree. The middle would actually add street side parking toward 65. There'd be, you'd add another space or two for public parking and put the drive out right in the middle. Or even if it went out to the left one.
Okay.
It doesn't have to be a giant, we'd be willing to, if you had a decent little line of traffic that went out the curb cut on the, I guess from Taylor Street would be the right side of the lot, and then the rest could actually improve street parking for others. That would be a weighing thing that would influence me anyway, to be in favor.
Got it. So I appreciate the feedback, and so I'll request to continue until the next meeting, or whenever
Okay.
you guys have room.
Yeah, I don't, as far as feedback on the rest of it, obviously the buildings exist. City council's going to decide whether they let you go to 10 and to approve your height. We have no problem with existing building granting variances and height exceptions. It's common. We certainly would probably go along with that. But I would like to, whenever we can, make a little bit of an improvement in the parking situation. I think that's our duty.
Understood.
All righty, I'll entertain a motion to continue this application. How many are next week?
I move to continue the application of 64 Friend LLC pertaining to 6468 Friend Street and 6163 Taylor Street. Continue to
October 30th?
October 30th.
Seconded.
We have a motion made and seconded. Roll call vote to continue.
Mr. Canavo?
Yes.
Mr. Ruiz?
Yes.
Ms. Norton?
Yes.
Mr. Parisi?
Yes. Thank you. One other order of business tonight is the approval of our calendar for next year. I think you all received that. These are the ones on the right of the hearing dates, and the left is the deadline for submission. As you see, November and December, there's only one meeting because we don't meet Thanksgiving or Christmas weeks. Everything else is pretty cut and dry. There's no interference with holidays or anything, so I would entertain a motion to approve the calendar for 2026.
Move to approve the calendar as proposed for 2026.
And so seconded.
Motion made and seconded. Roll call.
Mr. Canavo?
Yes.
Mr. Ruiz?
Yes.
Ms. Norton?
Yes.
Mr. Parisi?
Yes. Okay, our next hearing on the 30th, we have six cases. We have discontinued. We also have the 40B continuation, which I don't know how much more progress. We're still waiting for reports. But we will have a busy night. I think Ron's still away on the 30th. He said 2 meetings. I thought he said something. Oh, maybe you're right. Yeah, he might be back. Okay. So anyone that can be here is great.
If he's not back, I think the petition at Washington Street might need a continuance.
Well, no, I think we'll have Michael.
Oh, Michael's back, okay.
And Michael will be back and Jane. So, and even on the one you would recuse, wouldn't preclude you from the others, you know. Okay, so I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Seconded.
Made and seconded, roll call to adjourn.
Mr. Canavo,
Yes.
Mr. Ruiz, Ms. Norton,
Yes.
Mr. Parisi.
Yes, we are officially adjourned. What was this one?
Bye, Peter.
Bye, guys. Thank you.